Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and this is a tutorial on how to draw an eye. First, we'll start with the curve of the top of the eye like so. Keep in mind this will be more of an oval shape rather than a circle. Next, we're drawing the inner corner of the eye. Think of this as like an arch shape. Now we're gonna draw a curve directly underneath. If you look at a real image of an eye, you'll see these flaps, which is also known as the waterline. Here we are drawing the top part of it. Always make sure to keep your sketches light and not to press too hard on the pencil, as well as having an image of the subject matter you are drawing. Now we shall start with the eye itself. Draw a round circle directly underneath the line we've just created. Finish off drawing the inner corner of the eye. Now we're gonna start drawing the line underneath and the bottom waterline. Start from the center of the circle and connect this line to the inner corner. Then do the same towards the other side. However, that corner, make sure to leave a tiny bit of the gap. We will be creating a bit of shadow there later on in this video. Now it's time to directly draw a line underneath, creating another waterline. Make sure to connect the outer corners with the little dash. Draw the crease of the eye as another arch that goes just about up to each corner, starting from the outer corner towards the inner corner. Draw a little dash underneath, which will be the crease line of the under eye. Now we shall start drawing the pupil. Draw a small circle inside the bigger circle. Similar to the lips tutorial, we're gonna draw some guidelines. These guidelines will help us with the shadows. This is where an image of an actual eye will be very useful, as you should always have a picture of the subject matter that you are drawing. Before we start shading, draw on the highlighted areas where we won't really need to add shadow. We're gonna work with very dark shadows. Take a 3B to 4B shading pencil and start coloring in the smaller circle. If you live in England, I get my shading pencils from The Works, but you can go to any art store that is nearest to you. Create some squiggly lines that goes all the way round outside the circle. This will be another guideline to where we will create some shadows and highlights. take a HB pencil and start shading in those squiggly lines. Remember to leave some gaps in between the squiggly lines. This is where our highlights will be. Make sure for any lighter shadows to always change to 2H. And for any darker shadows, always go back to either 2B or 3B. Now we can start coloring in the rest of the pupil. Make sure to always create a gradient while you're shading. Here I'm also coloring in the outer of the pupil, which has a darker shade. I'm using a 2B to 3B pencil for this. I'm also making sure to follow the guidelines that we have created previously, so I know where my darker shadows are. Sure to do the shading in one by one and take your time while doing this. Make sure to also leave certain gaps in between the squiggly lines to create highlights. Now that we have finished the shading, take your 2B to 3B pencil to outline the outer pupil. You look at an image of an actual eye, you can see that every pupil has a black outlining. Make sure to go around the whole circle and add any shadows that you've missed. Now that we have finished with the pupil, we can start working on the actual eyeball. Shade in some faint lines around little areas where the shadows are most prominent. Now, take a cotton swab and smoothen out any rough edges as well as making more shadows. Now, use a rubber to rub out certain areas to create highlights. Now draw some faint lines to create little tiny veins. Use an image of an eye that you have in order to place these little lines correctly. These veins would usually look like little branches of a tree. Don't forget to shade in the inner corner of the eye. Start off by the sides and work your way towards the middle, creating a gradient. Your gradient must be from dark to light. it's time to start shading in the crease. Start from the edge and work your way towards the other end. Remember to keep the pressure on your pencil light and gradually increase the pressure as you get to darker areas. Remember, the more you do, the more realistic the drawing looks. Now it's time to draw in the eyelashes. Start from the outer end of your eye and work towards the inner end. When drawing eyelashes, make sure they're bundled up together. Not every single eyelash is separated from each other. Make sure that the curves of the eyelashes are in the same direction until you get to the midpoint. From the midpoint, that's when you change directions. Now it's time to do the bottom lashes. Similar to the top lashes, make sure they're bundled up together, as not all of them are separated from each other. Also keep in mind the lengths, as not all eyelashes are the same exact lengths. Hence why it's always best to always look at an image of your subject matter. Now for final touches, I'm adding shadow around the eye. This will enhance all the shadows previously and make our drawing look more realistic. In the outer corner of the eye, make sure to leave a little gap before shading in. Make sure to always keep your shading in the same direction as to not create any harsh lines. Make sure to leave certain gaps around the inner corners as well, and continue shading the whole outer surface of the eye. Make sure to add light pressure on your pencil. And that is the complete drawing of the eye. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more video, like and comment for any other drawing tutorials that you would love to see.